Fire family? It's Mr. Meyer with the Fire, here to take the collective vibe higher. And this is 116, Mars Day with Mark, your favorite astrology podcast. We're going to put it on blast. So, if you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back. So, I'm going to run you through the transits, the charts, the highlights of the week, how we may expect this, and what to do. So, we got on September 2nd, right as I'm starting this, guys. We are 10 days into Virgo season. I hope you guys started September beautifully. Your cinnamon or prosperity rituals bringing in abundance. So we've got our moon making some heavy action this week, okay, guys? We're starting with the moon waxing in the sign of Capricorn. She's going to break the full moon in Pisces this week, and then we're going to be spending the rest of the week waning. We have Mercury just starting the sign of Virgo at about 0 degrees. Venus is at 10 Leo. Mars is at 17 Libra. We've got Jupiter at 18 Cancer. Saturn is retrograde at 29 Pisces. So it's a blast from the past. Oh, yes. And what else we got? Uranus at 1 degree of Gemini. Neptune at 1 degree of Aries, also retrograde, and then Pluto retrograde at 1 degree of Aquarius. So I'm going to move the clock forward 1 week so you can see where we end up. And of course, that's going to put the sun at 17 Virgo at the end of the week, September 9th. I have something very special planned for September 9th, so you guys are going to want to stay tuned. Fire family, watch out for that. We've got the moon, like I said, going to be waning, but it'll be in Aries about a week from now. We break the full moon in Pisces, like I said. We're going to focus on that today, okay, guys? We've got Mercury moving up to 14 degrees of Virgo. Just flying through Virgo, guys. We're going to talk about it. We've got Venus moving up to 18 Leo. Mars moves up to 21 Libra. Jupiter moves up to 19 Cancer. Saturn still creeping around 29 Pisces. And the rest of the planets are still in the same degree. Minus a couple minutes or so. And hey, it's worth noting, guys, the north node of the moon is in the sign of Pisces, which of course puts the south node in the sign of Virgo. And I don't know if you guys know, but when we have our lunations in the same sign as the nodal axis, this creates either a partial or total eclipse. A partial or total eclipse. This is a partial eclipse. And I'm super excited. So, that being said, guys, this is actually a really interesting week, and we're going to make the most of it. Blessed be. We create our lives. First of all, it's easy to get drawn into astrology because of its wonder and its mystery and start to assume these planets have power over me. And maybe to some degree, if we had no sun, we would all die. But besides that, if we have the gift of life, we're going to use it to the fullest. I think it's not wise to assume that you can or can't do something because Mercury's direct or retrograde, or say that you can't do whatever because this planet is square that planet. Nah. Or we can't go outside because it's an eclipse. It's like, make it make sense, man. Is astrology going to empower you or disempower you? That's my biggest question for today. I got a lot of questions for you, but let me say, this week strikes me as a huge release. Manifesting dreams. This could be a subconscious purge with the full moon in Pisces. And then we're welcoming in the magic. So we're going to take it step by step, guys. We're in the spirit of Virgo. It's transition. It's the end of summer for me. If you're in the opposite hemisphere, it may be a different season, but we reap what we sow. It's harvest time. So this is a beautiful time to start to bring in these blessings from the fruits of our labor, and even start to think about how we can do this a little bit different. Virgo season has a lot to do with cleaning and organizing and simplifying. It's the little tiny details that either going to make you feel so beautiful or kind of messed up. Virgo energy really thrives on simplicity. And I think it's really important that we focus on our priorities, keep things simple, and just do our best. And on top of that, see if we can be present in the work that we're doing. That's really the beauty, is your power comes from your focus. Your energy goes whatever direction you're paying attention to. So by being able to deepen your presence into the moment, whatever you're doing, avoid distractions, avoid all the extra noise and bells and whistles, you find yourself being a little more effective. The Virgo sun energy is the Eight of Pentacles in the tarot, just so you know. And if you look at the Eight of Pentacles with the man working on his work and focusing very deeply, it's not what you do, guys, it's how you do it that makes a big difference. Okay? When we put good energy into our work, we get good energy out of our work. So if you would imagine the card in reverse, when you feel frustrated or you feel messed up or off center, sometimes it's worth taking a step back from your work for a second and getting your mind right, getting your attitude right, coming back with good energy, learning to redirect your energy, learning to go with the flow. Keep in mind, this is a mutable sign, guys. So speaking of Virgo energy, let's jump to it. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury just made an ingress. And this is a really interesting week. We start this week with high tensions, I'm not going to lie. If you look into the sky, or look at this chart, you've got Mercury at the, basically the first degree of Virgo, 0 degrees. And then you've got Uranus in Gemini. That's a 90-degree angle. We call that a square. That reflects a lot of tension. I don't think it's good or bad, but tension is what it is, man. It may not be the most harmony. This, to me, looks like breakthroughs. Keep in mind, Mercury rules over the body, not just our perception. And what I'm seeing is that this is a physical purge that's going on for a lot of us, but also a mental cleansing. And we may be feeling like our need for inspiration and originality is kind of going against our thought process or patterns in life. And there may be a need to eliminate quite a few things from our life in the spirit of health. And I also want to say that Mercury rules over the motor nerves and even the lungs to some degree. So you'll see at this time, a lot of people's health journey is calling them to think differently, to speak differently, to breathe differently. The word spirit gave me recently was hypoxia. And if you've been watching my series for a while, guys, I think it may be clear to see if someone has the eyes to see it. But I recently found out that I suffered from hypoxia, which by definition is a lack of oxygen, lack of air. And hypoxia could come from a bunch of different reasons, but not breathing correctly or deeply is probably the most common reason because tension in the body can cause hypoxia from taking our awareness away from the breath. And that can make us kind of lock up or shorten the breath or shallow the breath, especially if you were ever in fight or flight or your adrenaline kicked on and you weren't able to re-regulate the nerves. You may kind of get stuck in this system or cycle of not breathing as deep as you possibly can. And it's not intentional. So that's the danger. Oxygen is life, air is life. Every cell in your body needs oxygen to breathe. So there is no benefit of holding your breath. I'm a Virgo rising, by the way. And I say that just to say, I feel like this Virgo energy in my life has made me want to be the most focused and be the most attentive and most productive and organized and effective. And I think I conditioned myself to be hypoxic because I was so interested in optimization. And I incorrectly thought that maybe if I if I would forego the breath, that I could get more done. But the truth of the matter is, it's the exact opposite. When you feel like you don't have enough time or that you aren't enough, you usually really try to prove that or demonstrate that through action in some way, shape, or form. And the crazy thing is, man, when you're sacrificing, your vital resources in order to, prove yourself, which is really unnecessary, it of course wastes energy. So I've been realizing that by genuinely slowing down, taking time to fully breathe, everything is changing for me. My cells are oxygenating better. My body systems are healing. My chakras are getting more energy. I feel more balanced. I feel more calm. Have you guys ever had a panic attack or like a moment where you really couldn't catch your breath? You were so stressed. That is like one of the worst feelings in the world. And anyone who's ever been there really knows the value of oxygen. I will tell you, it's kind of crazy. You could go weeks without food. You could go days without water. But if you were to cut off the blood flow in your neck, you know, you can only go about 12 seconds without getting oxygen to your brain before you are gone. I'm sorry if you guys can hear my Discord notifications. I was speaking on distractions. I'm not too sure if they're going to pop out in the background, but my bad if that's the case. The show has to go on though. So, anyway, let's talk about the moon because that's kind of what's going on with Mercury this week. Frankly, there's a lot of Mercury aspects, but at the end of the day, man, it's really just important that you stay present and that you mother effing breathe. That's the message from Mercury this week is set your priorities and be simple. Clean your house. Clean your house. Clean your phone. Clean it all. Cleanse it all, man. Clean out your car. Clean under your bed. Get the vacuum out. We're going to be doing this full moon now. So this is going to be a beautiful time for release and bringing in some peace, some blessings, please. Anyway, this is a interesting week, triple moon. So what I mean is, look, she starts in Capricorn, waxing, and then on Sunday night, she's going to creep her ass into Pisces. Well, she's going to be there on Saturday, but creep herself into full moon in Pisces on Sunday. Well, Saturday night, Sunday, midday, basically. And then for the rest of the week, she's going to be waning. And she's going to be letting go of what this cycle brought forth. Beautiful stuff, guys. So let me say that where we start this week, it's about forward action, building momentum, getting things together, getting things situated and set up in our lives, creating good habits, creating good routines, creating good structures. Okay. And then in the back end, like this weekend, we are really going to have a ceremonious weekend, is the best word I can find in my heart right now. A ceremonious weekend because full moons are very special, guys. They happen once a month. Maybe that's why we have the word month. The moon ends really when the new moon begins. It takes about 28 to 29 days for the lunar cycle to start and end. And that means from new moon to new moon. Okay. So the full moon is halfway through. That's about 2 weeks into the lunar cycle. So we're culminating, is a really good word, culminating this lunar cycle in Virgo. The new moon in Virgo started on the first day of Virgo season, not too long ago. So the moon controls the tides. She rules the more magical part of our mind. Timing, instincts, our feelings, our emotions, the divine rhythm. The moon is everything. I love the moon. We love the moon, man. If we didn't have the moon, life would be way different. I can't even imagine a world without the moon because she really is our sense of balance on some very deep level. And the moon goes full in the middle of the cycle, which initiates a release because then the moon starts to wane. So we're going to be letting go. And let's think about this for a second from a little bit more archetypal perspective. So Virgo is the sixth sign, the earth sign, which reflects purity and presence, service, and health. Virgo is a very beautiful sign. It's the maiden, it's fair, and it's here to help. And then you've got Pisces, which is the final sign of the zodiac, the two fish. And this is about transcendence or sublimation, self-undoing, return, reunion, empathy, imagination, spirituality, even the unconscious, even the collective conscious. That's something about Pisces. Pisces is the universe. It's one of the best ways I could put it among every other word I'm saying. It's a lot of symbols that reflect these two signs. And because they're polar, they're innately aligned. And you could look at the divine in both of them, whether physical world in the material being Virgo or the spiritual world being Pisces. They're both very beautiful, very aligned. The sacred is in everything. So Pisces can often have a lot to do with our beliefs and what we're devoted to, what our life is about. Virgo represents the everyday, the mundane, what we're doing all the time. Pisces makes us question, why are we doing this? Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, so that's in itself something to think about. Why are we doing this? What's it all for? What's my vision? What reality do I want to create? So Pisces is dreams. Remember that. And then the full moon in Pisces is giving us this opportunity to manifest our dreams. I'm going to give it to you honest. Some would, I don't want to argue for some what they might argue about me. So I'm holding my thought and thinking more wisely. Excuse me. Let me say, you can manifest anything in this life. If you take time, you take aligned action, if you have a process and trust it, you can manifest anything. But let me also say that belief creates a filter on reality, which modifies how you perceive it and interact with it. If you don't believe that you can do something, it's going to be a lot harder to do it. I promise you. So, this full moon really helps us get in the spirit of alignment with our most beautiful, desired, imagined reality. Imagination is a tool that we all possess, but many of us are not very skilled with the tool. And that's okay, because any skill takes work to develop. And if you haven't put in the work, don't expect it to work. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm really trying to help, okay? So what I'm just trying to say is that a lot of people have not really realized how powerful their mind is. And I'm not trying to insult anybody's intelligence by any means. I'm just trying to say that we get so caught up in the material world and going from this thing to this thing to the next, and not really questioning the pattern. Some people on earth have been living out the same pattern for like 30 years straight without really much question or outside intervention or inside intervention, just going with the flow constantly. Pisces full moon is asking us this week, really, what is it that you believe? Does that support you? And the thing about Pisces, again, unconscious, full moon release. Some of this may not even really fully come up to the forefront of your perception this week, but you may notice really big changes happening inside of you, especially with this being an eclipse, guys, because these lunations are like supercharged. And while we have that moon every month, I would say that this one being an eclipse is going to basically reverberate for a few extra months, to say the least. Some say about 6, give or take. The funny thing about these cycles and rhythms is just like a pebble thrown in a pond and the ripple moves on. Hey, man, it really affects you for eternity if you really want to be real with the metaphysics about it. But hey, let's focus on today and the week ahead, okay? But look, I have a challenge for you guys. And hey, Fire Fam supporters, we're doing a ritual in the Discord server for the full moon in Pisces. And I really encourage you guys to try this out. If you can make it, cool. If not, get yourself a clear quartz, a nice one that you really like, and it's important that you like this clear quartz, because clear quartz is the master crystal. And you can program with intention. So what I'm suggesting we all try is to take a clear quartz, clear it out, remove any past energies from it, and then charge this under the full moon in Pisces with the intention to help you manifest your dreams. The stone of clarity is getting that intention. So the more you work with this clear quartz and put your energy in it and meditate with it and let it work on you, you should be able to get more clear about what it is that you really dream about, aspire to exist in. Imagination is such a powerful tool, guys. So I'm saying beyond some people just being a little bit too hyper focused on the present moment in the physical world, I'm trying to say, the imagination is so dynamic and there can be a lot of misconceptions about it, because imagination is really just creating with your mind. And if you consider that all of our perceptions, like the sight, touch, taste, sound, etc., they are all an extension of the mind, imagination doesn't have to be visual. which is really an interesting thought. But the more you practice it, you'll be able to tap into all the psychic senses. So I'm just trying to say this, man. Be very careful about what you're imagining because it could come to you. That image that you project into the world has energy, it has vibration, it has frequency. And the universe is reading frequency, not necessarily words. You know, the words have frequency, but I digress. Get clear about what you want to live and what you want to experience and start to tune into that image as long as you can. Feel good about that image in the present moment, and you'll be more attracted and aligned with it. Anyway, I just kind of feel like I've been beating this horse or like nailing this coffin shut. I think you guys get the idea, man. We're going to talk about a couple more things really quick. I think it's really important that you work with clear quartz and do the inner work so you can start to even uncover deeper what is it that I believe about reality? And does this support me or does this hold me back? We create our beliefs, but beliefs can also be inherited from family, from society, from a multitude of factors. They could also be created unconsciously. So let's be careful what we believe because our belief creates our reality. Let's get to Mars square Jupiter. Hey, man, there's not too much else to say, but there's so much to say, actually. I have to take that back. I could really make these videos for 3 hours straight, but I've been working on 25 minutes to give you guys the best energy. If you focus on the higher time frames in astrology, these higher time frames hold higher power. So Pluto in Aquarius, trine Uranus in Gemini, both retrograde. This collective uprising that we're experiencing is really crazy and really in front of your face. I think it goes without saying. The North Node is saying manifest your dreams too, by the way. Let's build a more beautiful and compassionate world. Let's value our spirituality more. The shorter time frames in astrology are going to have more volatility, and I hope that's clear with what we've discussed here today. You know, you may not see Pluto and Neptune move at all within a week, but in the course of a week, oh my God, I'm so sorry, guys, if the Discord notifications are on. But in the course of a week, you'll see the sun move about 7 degrees. You'll see the moon move several signs. Mercury might even make it through whole or like half a sign. You'll have some ingresses in the inner planets. So those are going to move faster. They're going to have the most volatility. It is a Virgo Mercury week, and that means it's time to lock in. It's time to be more specific, time to be more focused, and you're going to get more while doing less. We all have finite energy, so put that to the test. Take an inventory. Does this serve? Does it not? It's time to purge. We also got Saturn retrograde in Pisces. I want to spin back to Jupiter, Mars. It's a deep shedding of the past. The quest is emotional mastery with Saturn in Pisces. You being the master of your reality. Okay, so taking responsibility for your own life, that's paramount when it comes to Saturn. And it's interesting how this one works. You have to be psychically attuned and aware of the spiritual reality, Pisces, Saturn, in order to really gain your footing right now. So, man, I'm just saying that to say, welcome in this magic. Welcome magic into your life. Magic really is everywhere at all times. The magic exists inside of the mundane, Virgo, Pisces. So please take it in. Please welcome it into your life and recognize that every act is an act of magic. It's a creative act and a willed act. But be conscious, okay? Jupiter is square to Mars this week, guys. And I think that this is an interesting aspect to study and meditate on in your own life. Mars, the will, wants expansion. Jupiter, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. I think this is a call to be intentional with everything. Be mindful of your power as an opportunity to give. What principles do you live? And how do they guide you? Jupiter Mars also says you want to do things in a really big way, but you also might be trying to extend past your limits in some way. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. And I get with this Libra Mars, be careful trying to do too much for others when you haven't even really done that shit for yourself yet. Like, what are you trying to prove under that circumstance? But hey, man, it's 25 minutes. So I just want to say, I love you, Fire Family. Stay lit. Hit that like button. Blessed be and blessed we. Merry meet again, witches. I'll see you next time.